We have an after-hours news alert on shares of Affirm, the payment stock rocketing higher on some deal news. Let's get to Kate Rooney with all the details. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Leslie. Affirm shares have been up as much as 40% after hours after a partnership with Amazon. Amazon is getting into what has been a booming buy now, pay later space. The e-commerce giant is partnering with Affirm for its first ever installment payment options on the e-commerce site. Shares of Affirm, as I mentioned, absolutely soaring after this announcement. They had been up as much as 40%. They're up about 39% here after hours. Affirm's buy now, pay later checkout option will be available to certain Amazon customers in the U.S. That starts today with a broader rollout in the coming months. The partnership will let Amazon customers split up purchases of $50 or more into those smaller monthly installment payments. I'm told some of these will be interest-bearing, others will have zero interest. It really depends on the borrower, and this could be big for Affirm. The shares had gotten hit earlier in the week after Peloton earnings. There was some concern about revenue concentration for the company. Peloton, of course, is a big partner for Affirm. Amazon, though, the biggest retailer in the U.S., eMarketer estimates Amazon will account for more than 40% of e-commerce spending in the U.S. this year. The partnership on Friday, of course, is the latest sign of a red-hot lending space here. Younger consumers have really been moving towards these alternative lines of credit. Affirm is one of the better-known options, but we had Square recently announcing its $29 billion deal to buy Australian fintech Afterpay to get into the space. PayPal, Klarna, American Express, Citi, JP Morgan all have these similar lending products now, and Apple finally is reportedly planning to launch installment lending in a partnership with Goldman Sachs. Leslie, back to you.
It's a fascinating, evolving area, Kate. I think Tim Seymour has a question for you. Tim.
Well, Kate, ultimately, I think the question is, they've already struck a partnership with Apple Canada on at least activity up north of the border. Does this leave room, or is this an exclusive deal? Is this a place where really we see these two companies' fortunes, not Amazon's per se, but Affirm tied to Amazon at this point?
It's interesting. That really has been the case with Peloton. We really, some of the partnerships have sort of been a leading indicator for Affirm stock. You saw it sort of trading in sympathy with Peloton. I think it does tend to sort of trade along with whoever it's partnered with. But Amazon, being such a big chunk of U.S. e-commerce, has investors clearly really excited. The shares have been up, as much as 40% here after hours. Not sure on exclusivity if this means that they wouldn't be able to partner with certain people because they're with Amazon. And one of the things we were wondering, is this something that Amazon could have built internally? It's interesting that they didn't build their own buy now, pay later product and instead went with a partnership model.
Yeah, those are all really, really good questions, Kate. And I think the one about exclusivity will be key and will come into focus, hopefully, in the next few days. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Kate Rooney. Steve Grasso, what's your take on this?
Well, it's obviously what you see in the price action. It's extremely bullish for Affirm. And the short interest in Affirm is not that spectacular. It's under 10%. But it just begs the question, how much was Bezos involved in this, if at all, on this decision? How long was this decision in the making? And to what Kate just said, who decided to go this route versus do it your own? Why couldn't Amazon do this on their own? Well, they have a credit card. They have every other payment options. This seems like a no-brainer to do it on your own. So I think it's 100% bullish for Affirm. I'm still questioning why Amazon wouldn't just do this in-house. So that would be the only head scratcher for me. Not that even means anything.
Bonawyn, what do you think?
I think in terms of scale and scope, it's definitely positive for Affirm. I will add that it's after hours trading on a Friday, so you're going to be a little light there. The real question, if I had a bone to pick, it would be about profitability and margin, because anytime you find yourself in business with Amazon, with all due respect, they do have pricing and negotiating power. And so it will be interesting to see, reading through the details in terms of what the margins are actually going to be realized on that deal.
Jeff, let's say this is exclusive with Affirm and Amazon. What does that mean for some of the Affirm competitors that Kate laid out? What does it mean for the credit card companies, traditional methods of payment, PayPal, Apple? What does that mean for those names?
Well, all of those companies now are trying to build out this sort of capability. So it will be interesting to see the exclusivity of this deal and ultimately what that means for Affirm and their ability to do more of these partnerships going forward, because I think ultimately that might be where some of the upside is in the stock. When I'm hearing about this over and over again, we talked about it with Square and Afterpay, the one thing that comes to mind, I know the question's been raised before, is what does the credit quality of the underlying loan books here look like? We're in a really good economy right now, tons of excess savings, the consumer's in a great spot, the labor market's really strong, so I'm not worried about that in the near term, but potentially going down the line, when the economy eventually stumbles, what does it mean for some of these companies that are now trading at extremely high valuations? With a stock like Affirm, I mean, it was all the way up to 140, so even with the move after hours, it's still way down. 140 probably wasn't justified. Probably the price where it is now is about right. So I don't know, if you weren't in before this, how much near-term upside there is.
Right. Well, certainly some volatility, as you mentioned, thin trading on a Friday, so we'll keep an eye on it.